guys, welcome back to gipsyrosepaperie, and I've been promising to journal or do a journal with me for many months now. It's months, yep. But I just find sometimes that filming kind of builds up the journaling session too much. So like I have to set up the light and the holder and the phone and just extra things that take creative energy in order to just be able to journal. So I've been actually just journaling in here on my own, and I would call it journaling very loosely. It's mostly sticking stuff in here. I did do a very quick journaling session on my Instagram. I have some old papers that I forgot all about, and I felt like they were important milestones in my life, so I wanted to keep them somewhere safe, but not necessarily like do a whole journaling session around them. We're gonna find something here that's blank, completely blank. Here we go. And there's not gonna be a lot of thought into this. So I have the box here, and I have her tissue paper, which is just the perfect size. So we're going to use it because why not? And just to add a little bit of grunge, I'm going to do this. And I will probably just record sounds and then do a talk over. So this is where I'm going to say peace. And let's just, do some stress-free, chill type of journaling. So initially I wanted to make this into an ASMR type video, but unfortunately my mic is non-existent. I use my phone audio to record, and I'm a heavy breather, so it wasn't a great combination of just hearing me breathe while I craft or while I do this journal thread. So instead we're gonna do a talk through and maybe listen to some music as well. So I hope you guys are okay with that. If you were interested in doing or having me do an ASMR video, then let me know down in the comments, and I will look into how I would go about doing that. So initially, there isn't a lot of thought going on here. I just wanted to get a base layer down that had some texture, and I really like the tissue paper that is included in your Creative Stufio box. And then if you saw my unboxing, I fell in love with these little like stationery pieces. They look like little eggs with a bunny at the bottom, or a little squirrel, I think. Actually, this box had a lot of really good ephemera that I naturally would gravitate to anyway, so it was really easy to incorporate into this spread. And I think it was when I was going through those tickets initially when I did the unboxing, and these ephemera pieces here that I'm flipping through, that I kind of started to assign like some emotion to the spread. So if you don't know what I mean like when you are actively trying to journal in this fashion, and at first it's just putting pieces down, and then there's something in the ephemera, a word, an image, something that kind of triggers a memory. And so that's what this did for me. So the reason I picked that Barefoot Days page, there's meaning behind that, and there's meaning behind the tickets that I chose. I think it was like LA Dodgers, and I forget who the other one was. I think it was Queen. But I have sort of memories associated with those things. And so the spread from that point on just became about these specific memories. So I noted that on the base layer, I really love the texture, but it was just kind of like too much of one color on that page. So I used these scraps, and I just glued it down in the middle to kind of break that up and also make some of that ephemera stand out, because a lot of the ephemera was on craft paper or like like a vintagey type paper. So I wanted to go ahead and break that up so that could stand out. And then the packaging of the stamp stickers, I really love that. I thought it was actually ephemera, so I went ahead and I just used it like ephemera because I really love handwriting and I like what it adds, so I really wanted to incorporate that. And on some of the heavier cardstock, the glue sticks just was not cutting it. So I had to break out the good old FABRITAAAC to get the job done right. If you know, I have an obsession with FABRITAAAC. I love it. It's probably, horrible for your skin and of course the fume. It's the warnings on there, but nothing works like FABRITAAAC for me. So it's always my go-to. I think ephemera also is a great way to sort of add meaning to a journal spread instead of it just being like a giant glob of just things glued down. And in this case, I used tickets in that fashion, as well as you'll see later the book page. And that way it's kind of cool also because it's like your own little like secret code to yourself. And if anyone ever got into your book or you left your book somewhere and someone decided to peek into it, then like your secret is safe and sound because only you know the meaning. So I think that's just super cool. So at this point in the journaling session, once I feel like I have one of the pages sort of all set, whenever I'm doing like these double spreads, then I start to focus more on the symmetry of the overall feel of the piece. So on that following page, even though it may not at first glance seem like it's very symmetrical, I did put thought into kind of balancing those two sides so that they complement each other instead of like sort of competing against each other. So although I may not be completely comfortable on this public platform sort of sharing all the meaning behind this journaling spread because it's very personal, I did want to share sort of how I assign emotion and meaning or memories to what I'm doing. So I just wanted to kind of delve a little deeper into the meaning behind the barefoot days page and why I chose that. So, and this might be very personal, you might not be comfortable, so feel free to forward, but I'm someone who very often is caught up in thought, and I sort of forget to live in real time and like appreciate each moment for what it is just within that very moment. So being present really is what I'm talking about. And when I saw this page, it just reminded me of something that I had read about how you should find different ways to ground yourself. And one of those ways to ground yourself is through nature. And that could be either going outside and listening to the birds or like walking barefoot in the grass, or just different things like touching the bark of a tree. And the barefoot in the grass and like physically making contact with grass really resonates with me and is something that I find very comforting, especially when I'm caught up in that headspace. So that's how I assign meaning to this, and maybe that'll be helpful to some of you who want to incorporate this type of journaling into their spreads but are not sure how.
So this is the almost finished piece. I will keep kind of finagling with this and share the final results on my Instagram, but I wanted to thank you so much for stopping by. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.